So I finally got this opened back up in Photoshop. I'm just gonna make a, it's just a 4 megabyte, oh no, it's still made a giant file, but it's a relatively small file. I've made a blank layer, and I'm gonna get my brush tool and just get, it's a red brush. I can even make it a little bit harder so that it does that, and I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. So now I'm gonna be that really annoying person that drills in, and I see immediately some things. So what I'm going to do is just circle around, like these are kind of the flash burn, and I see that up here as well. And I think if I just do this and I send it to Pratik, I think he'll understand.
Yeah.
I don't need to annotate exactly what I want. So then I can just kind of do this and say, can you fix these random stray hairs? And I think he'll understand that as well. I'm going to say leave, sorry about my terrible handwriting, because this is the teased hair. I want to keep that there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make a note specifically because he might go, right, I want to get rid of this.
Thank God.
I don't want him to do that, right? I can get these dust spots that are on the sensor, just circle them, but I'm pretty confident that Pratik will see them as well.
Right.
Other things I'm going to look out for is here, I have a little bit of a highlight that I would like to get rid of just to make it a little bit smoother here and also here. I'm just going to smoothen it out, and then I might just put smooth. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I want more definition in the hair. So I'm just going to make some notes. And again, this is something I'm going to write to Pratik about. I want to say like, hi E, highlights. God, I really should have paid attention when it was a handwriting class. Good, and that's pretty much, I wouldn't even want to tidy up all of this hair. I think I have a little spot here. I'm gonna go in and...
What do you think about the lines on the side of the face? Would you do anything with that, or is it just a personal preference?
Yeah, it's a personal preference. I could do something like this. 50%.
Yes.
And just say, take it out a little bit. Make it a little bit softer. What do you think?
Exactly, and it's always... Another good point about that is when you're working on figures like, actresses and actors and things like that, they have these definable characteristics about themselves that you want to take out completely. You want to keep it in there, put that realism, because it's like you're hiding a lot of the flaws that are there, but at the same time you're not removing them completely, so it keeps their natural character.
What do you think from an... it's a matter of taste, I suppose. And
it is.
If I can get away with keeping these guys in or keeping something that has character and it's my shoot and I have that control, I will always do that. I don't, if it's a fashion client or someone we have, where I know what they're gonna want, then of course I have to do it. But for me, it's about keeping that character, and if I can get away with it. Like, I don't think she looks old in any way, shape or form. I think she's beautiful in this look. I mean, her eyes, everything. And that reminds me, I'm gonna just drill into the eyes here, make my brush a little bit smaller, and just say, can you brighten this, and then slash pop. I just want a little bit of pop in there. And Pratik will understand what that means. I'm gonna look at the catch lights, and all of these little bits and bobs, I know Pratik will go in and tastefully remove them.
Right.
If I just do this...
It would be the whole image.
It'd be the whole image, exactly. So he's gonna clean all of that up. The makeup is good. I even have these little speckles. And this is where I think we have a little bit of motion in these speckles. I don't know if you can see, they're a little bit like pulled.
Jagged a little bit.
Jagged, and I actually really like that up here.
It adds more specularity.
This works really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I told the makeup artist, like, can you put a little bit of speckles in there? Because I knew it would work.
Right.
From glitter.
So that was your idea that you told them to add.
Yeah, I just kind of saw her. And don't be intimidated if you don't know what, I say to the makeup artist, what do you think? This is my idea. She'll come up with an idea. I went to see the model and I said, right, let's put some sparkles in there, define the lip a little bit more. And that's just from my experience. But it wasn't like I walked in with a mood board and everything, because I've never met the model before. I didn't know if she would work for a beauty look. It was, I'll be honest, in Seattle it's hard to cast high fashion models. They all go to New York or Paris, and the fashion weeks are going on. Where am I going to get one from? But this worked out really well. I really like her. The other thing, I don't really have much other points on this image. I might say, You know, I would put X, which is Control-Shift-X is the keyboard shortcut for liquify.
Right.
So I don't have
index,
to.
yeah,
I don't
something
have
like
to.
that,
I don't have
if
to
I'm
write
mistaken.
liquify in here. I'll just put an X, and but I don't really feel that this image needs it. But that's how I would do it. Pratik is going to clean up all the skin. I mean,
What do you think about things like freckles? Do you typically leave them in, take them out?
she
What do
doesn't
you,
have
what's
any,
your
does she?
preference?
Let's have a look. Let's go in really. Like, this is how you should look at an image, right? And then you're going to like this.
But please
and
don't retouch
this.
like that.
No, I'm
seriously.
joking. I would leave freckles. I mean, even she has a couple of freckles here,
yeah.
and I think it adds character for her. She has a few freckles. In fact, that's a good point. I would even ask more.
out.
Yeah. Oh God. More freckles. God, it's like a child. It doesn't look so bad when you zoom out.
That's actually a great point. KL Photo is saying, Pratik, Felix marks the image in his own way, and you can understand all of it since you're sitting right beside him and can ask questions. But do you ever get notes from photographers and are just, I have no idea what you're saying?
Yes, yes, yes.
Give me some tips.
Well, first of all, it happens when I can't understand the handwriting.
That's gonna. That won't be an issue with me.
So what I'll tell them to do is instead of writing it, they will take the text cursor and just type it up beside the area.
Oh, like this.
Yeah.
The T.
I just wanted to see how far you'd get with your handwriting before I jumped in with that.
For you, cruel, cruel man. And I have like a tiny font here, don't I?
You probably need to change it.
I'm doing well.
Yeah, it's great.
Wow, that's a really small font.
Where did
That's the M. We have an M.
Oh my gosh, that's
Okay.
great. Yeah, I can understand that. But
Okay.
yeah, and sometimes they'll put markings I just don't understand. Like they'll point to something, and I don't know what they want you to do with it. Like they'll point to a chin, and I'm like, do they want you to liquefy it, remove the highlight, like? And beside they'll say fix. I'm like, fix what? So I'll go back and ask them, did you mean this? Do I have to mind read? Like, what is it that you want me to do? And yeah, just clarifying. Communication is always the thing before doing anything. Don't assume. Never assume.
And then a great question from, I think this was from Fashion TV. Do you ever then go back and make suggestions of your own to the photographer as you're looking at it? Both in the sense of, you didn't ask for this, but I noticed it, so should I do it? And contrary to that, more of a, are you sure you really need this? Because I think it looks fine. Do you ever do that?
I do both of those things. I, first of all, will jump in if I feel like this is extremely obvious that we should be taking this out. Maybe there are a couple of flyaways that they didn't notice when they were doing markups. And typically, if I know that they have notes like that in the past, I will go ahead and remove it. And also, I will then go back and say, you know what, one of the changes that you requested doesn't look as good as I think you thought in your mind. I think we should leave it as is or reduce it, and here's why, and I'll show them. And they'll say, yeah, you know what, actually I think I agree with you, and let's go with that. Because sometimes in their mind they get carried away, like, yeah, we should take this out and remove this. It's very easy to go crazy with changes. And when you have that control and you can rein them in, it makes it better. That's why it's good to have this line of communication with Felix or whoever you work with. I could just call him up or text him and say, that change you said, that change you did, it's probably not going to look that good. Let's tone it down a bit.
Yeah, and it's easy. That's an open communication.
Yeah, it is, definitely.
The other thing is, actually, okay, I've decided I don't like the text tool. So I've written more freckles, but it took so long. I'm not a Photoshop genius, okay, I'll admit it right now.